Hello, everybody. Welcome to our course. I'm so glad that you have chosen to join me today. I can't wait to share with you everything that I've learned over the years about this whole life work balance, management of time and productivity and all the things. I want to help you be less busy. That's what we're talking about today. Busy is just it's no fun. It's no fun to be too busy. So I'm going to show you how you can get everything done, take care of yourself, have some fun, have some time to relax, um, and just not feel so busy and overwhelmed all the time. So we're going to get right to it. I can't wait to share with you. Let's see if I find my slides. There they are. And I think I am back there in the corner. There we go. So the secrets to stop being busy. I can't wait to get started. Very quickly, I want to let you know who I am. If you don't know who I am, my name is Heather Lambert. I am so passionate about time management, and actually it's more like anti-time management because I really believe there's a lot of time management tips out there that actually make us feel more busy. So we may talk about some of that later on. But first of all, I am living here in Florida with my husband, whose name is Dave, and he actually works from home also. We both work from home, which makes for an interesting work-life balance situation, right? You've got to really make sure you've got those boundaries and time management figured out because it can be really easy to get distracted when the whole family is home all the time. I also have 3 boys. Joey is off in the Navy now. He left a few months ago and graduated Navy boot camp. So he is finally moved out and doing his thing. Nicholas just graduated from high school last spring, and he has his high school diploma and also received his associate's degree as a dual enrollment student. So that was super exciting, but added a really spin of busyness to our life for a minute as I had to drive him back and forth from college to high school. It was a little bit crazy. And then we also have Christopher is 7. He's getting ready to start 2nd grade and loves all the sports and wants to do everything all the time. So it is a busy, busy house with 3 boys and all of our businesses and whatnot. So I have been actually running my own business in direct sales for more than 8 years now. And so I have learned a lot about um, time management and work-life balance because I was a full-time teacher when I started. I was a middle school math teacher, and so I worked during the day. I had the kids at home. I started my own business. I was trying to grow that. Everything was going on all at the same time. So it was very, very busy. And so I have been where you are. I have been the busy person for a long time. I was also in property management for a while, and I put that on here because property management is a great industry for me to learn how to manage my time. It's a type of industry where things get thrown at you unexpectedly, often during the day, just as life can throw unexpected obstacles at us and challenges in our way. We might have a plan for the day and then something will happen and everything gets all discombobulated and changed and nothing that we planned on getting done gets done, and it really puts a wrench in the works, right? So property management industry really taught me a lot about being flexible with my time and understanding how to make room for that. And so it's really important now in what I want to teach with you guys. So I just threw that in there because that's really was an important place for me to kind of learn this whole time management piece. I do have a degree in psychology from a long time ago, University of Central Florida, and I have a master's degree in education. So I got that when I was teaching. Now, so that all looks great on paper, but what about me? Yes, I am a firstborn, and I am a very traditional firstborn. If you read descriptions about firstborns and how they are overachievers and all of that stuff, never get in trouble, that's totally me. So I am definitely a firstborn overachiever, which means that I always tend to take on more than I need to. There's just so much to do in life, and I want to do all of it. And I'm not afraid to jump in and do something. I'm just not afraid. Once I decided I want to do something, I'm all in. So I have a tendency to fall into leadership positions, and maybe that's my all-in sort of personality. Is I can see things that need to happen or that can happen or are possible, and so I just jump in and go. Um, I don't always choose a leadership position, but for some reason, I always find myself there. So I am also an information junkie, which also makes me a good leader because I have lots of information. I'm a huge reader, so I love to read. I love to gather all the information. I love to watch videos and read articles as well. But I love self um, person development and business books are my favorite. I read them voraciously. I've read a ton. If you ever needed a suggestion, shoot me a message. I've probably got one for you. So I love to read. And again, that's where I've gotten so much information to share. I've learned so many things about how to be better, how to figure out what my strengths are, how to figure out who I am and what my personality is, and what tricks and tips and systems and things work best or don't work at all for my particular personality. So that's really important. And I want to share some of that with you guys in this course. I'm also a silver lining girl, definitely a very positive person, not a Pollyanna by any means. I am not of the mindset that nothing can go wrong. But what I do believe is that we can learn and pull something good out of every situation, no matter how horrible it might seem. There's always something that we can learn and take with us into the future to make us better, or to just look at things differently from a different mindset or from a different perspective, really, to um, to learn or to just see something that maybe others don't. Um, I have an extensive hat collection. So I put that in there because you guys have a ton of different roles that you're playing in your life, right? We all have so many different roles, and I've played many, many roles in my family, in my life as well. Not just wife, but and mother, but also daughter, sister, stepsister, half sister. Um, I have been daughter-in-law. I have granddaughter, teacher. I've been a coach. I've like a cheerleading sports coach. I've been a babysitter, so a caretaker. I have been dog mom. I have been property manager. I've been bagger in a grocery store. Like I've just had so many different hats in my life. Within my family in the last few years, my roles have changed within the family as well. So I've been breadwinner. I've been caretaker. I've been stay-at-home mom. I've been full-time working mom. I've been um, the money maker, the non-money maker. Like there's been so many different roles, and as they change, that takes some transition and some getting used to, and some shifts in what we do with our time and how we prioritize the tasks that need to get done, right? And I believe that you have all of those different roles as well. You wear so many different hats. Um, and taking them on and off can be exhausting. So, just to let you know, I've been there. I know what it feels like. So, how are we going to spend our time together during this course? I want to figure out why you feel so busy. And it's probably not necessarily what you think it is. And so, we're going to take some time to uncover why you're feeling so busy. Most people think, well, it's because I got too much to do. I got too many expectations on me. I got too much to do and not enough time to do it, right? Not enough time and too many things. Well, not necessarily. And I hope that over the course of this class that you will figure that out and not feel so busy. We're going to track and identify what you're really spending your time on, because sometimes we just are not spending time where we think we are. It's just a matter of what we're focusing on. It's more mindset than anything, and a lot of people don't understand that, and so we're going to dive into some of that a little bit. We're going to figure out what your priorities are and what would you really be like to spend your time on. So you're feeling so busy because you've got so much to do and so many people to take care of. What would you rather be doing? What are the most important things that you want to spend time on? Where do you want to spend most of your time? Um, and where do you want to go in life? What do you want life to look like in 5 or 10 years? Right? Are you doing the things to get you there? Or are you just stuck? So we're going to figure out, what are your priorities? Where do you want to be in the next 10 years, and what should you be spending your time on? We're going to plan out your week, and I'm going to help you make intentional decisions about how you spend your time. And then we'll reflect, we'll evaluate, we'll do some tweaks as we need to. And I've got a bunch more tips at the end that I'll share with you to help you find even more time in your schedule. So we have a lot to do, and we're going to get right to it. So again, here are the hats. You have so many roles that you play in your life, so many different hats. You wear different hats in different seasons. Like I said, for a while I was the breadwinner of the family, and then for a while I wasn't. We outgrow hats. So as my children grow up, they don't need me as closely, right? As when they were infants or toddlers. We have to be right on them. We have to spend more time with them, waking up in the middle of the night, doing different things. So that hat changes. We outgrow that hat. We get a new one as our kids develop into a new season of life as well. Styles change. So what hat we used to wear, my teacher hat or my property management hat, perhaps, I don't wear those hats anymore. Now I have a business owner hat. I have an entrepreneur hat. So styles may change as we grow. Some hats we don't like. So the cleaning the house hat, the housekeeper hat that I have to wear from time to time, I don't like that hat at all. I don't like it. I think it's ugly. It's uncomfortable. It's no fun, and I don't like to wear it. Doesn't match any of my outfits. So I don't like that hat. The other problem is we can't wear all the hats at the same time. It's too hard to balance. You put too many hats on at the same time, and they're going to fall off your head. So you can't wear them all at the same time, but you can have multiple costume changes in a day. I found it really difficult to wear my teacher hat during the day when I was a teacher, and then to come home and put on my mom hat, especially when my students and my kids were the same age. Like that was really hard to change that hat when I got home. Um, and so that can be exhausting because it takes a lot of energy to change that costume, change that hat every time you need to be in a different role in your life. Um, so we can do some things with our schedule and to manage our time to make that less of an issue. It's true, we can. So why do we feel so busy? Like I said, most people think it's because most of they just have not enough time and so many things to do. There's only 24 hours in a day, and I don't have time to do all the things I need. I need five more hours. I hear that all the time. If I could just have another 3 hours a day, that would be great. I would be able to get more done. I would argue that that is not the case and that you probably have plenty of time, but we're going to talk about that in a second. The other problem is your language is so powerful. What we say out loud, your brain hears it, and your brain is always looking for evidence for whatever it is that you believe. And so if you believe that you are too busy and you are constantly telling people out loud how busy you are, your brain goes, "Oh, see, we're too busy. I heard it again. I heard it again. We're too busy. I don't have time. No, I don't have time for that. No, we don't have time for that. No, I'm too busy for that." If your brain is hearing you talk like that out loud, it's going, "Okay, yeah." And it's just reaffirming that belief that you're too busy. Humans have a tendency to dwell on the negative. Believe it. We can much more easily remember bad things than good things. Unfortunately, it is the truth. It is why the news is always so negative, because that's what humans like to dwell on and talk about. We talk about the negative stuff. Very rarely do we talk about positive, and there's proof of that. All you gotta do is scroll social media. People will always tell you about a horrible situation. It is rare for people to post about the good things. And you know that they are going to restaurants, for example, multiple times a month, and they only post about the one bad experience. Well, what about the other 5 or 8 experiences that you had at the restaurant that were fabulous? Nobody says a peep, but we always focus on the negative. And that's just the thing we tend to do. We have become a culture where busy, lack of sleep, and pain, just this horrible, my life is worse than yours situation, is sort of a cultural badge of honor. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody who said, "Oh, I'm so tired because such and such," and you go, "Oh, I don't even talk to me. I've only had 3 hours of sleep last night because such and such and such and such. So I'm more tired than you," or "I'm busier than you. I've got this, this, and this." And "Oh, no, no, I've got this, this, and this. So I'm more busier than you." We have those kind of conversations with people all the time. And why? Why? Why can't we just say, you know what, life's pretty darn good. I'm good. Wouldn't that be nice if we could just all share all the wonderfulness in our world instead of how horrible our lives are? Your work, your tasks, and the things you want to get done will fill whatever time you let it fill. And I have a story about this. My husband used to help me with laundry. I don't let him help me with laundry anymore. His philosophy around laundry, it came from his mother, I'm sure. He likes to do, well, I'm just going to do one load of laundry every day. And then it will always be clean. It will always have done. It'll stay under control, a little bit each day, no problem. Well, okay, a little bit each day sounds okay for some people. But that means he's doing 5 to 7 loads of laundry a week, right? If you skip the weekend, perhaps, but you at least do a load every day during the week. My philosophy on laundry is if I'm doing laundry today, I'm doing all of the laundry, start to finish, it's done, and I don't have to think about it again for another week, right? I don't have to think about it. It's done. Check it off, move on. Um, so I do 3 loads of laundry in one day, and he does 5 loads of laundry through the course of the week. 5 loads of laundry is going to take a whole lot more time than 3 loads of laundry. So doing laundry will fill whatever time you allow it to fill. You just have to decide how much time you're going to spend on laundry. Are you going to do it every day and stretch it out and do 5 different loads? Or are you just going to do a whole bunch all at once and be done? So think about that. And whatever tasks you decide you want to do, if you're going to clean every day, you will find something to clean every day. Or if you decide you're going to clean one day, you'll clean one day and that's it. You won't do it anymore. You will fill whatever time you let it. And so we're going to figure out how to put around some boundaries around certain things that need to not take up as much time as maybe they do in your life. There are probably some things that you're doing that you could limit down, that you could readjust and tweak or shrink down your systems or your process so it doesn't fill all of the time. You might be worried about what other people think of you. Sometimes we get really busy doing things that we think others expect of us. And maybe they don't really care if you do it or not. So think about that. And we're going to take a look at what are some things that maybe you're doing and spending time on that you're doing it because you want people to think a certain way or to not think a certain way. And really, they don't care. They're not paying attention. So that perfectionist urge that many of you have, because many people that feel busy are probably perfectionists. So it probably is many of you. When you're being perfectionist, you're spending more time trying to make things even better when good enough is probably good enough. Nobody else cares how much more perfect you're going to make it. That's just you, even though your perception is that they might think differently. They really don't. Good enough is good enough sometimes. And finally, busy is comfortable. We're all just used to being busy and we don't know what to do with ourselves when we're not busy. So hopefully we can change your mindset and shift some stuff for you so that that's not so bad. So how does busy make you feel? If you're also busy right now, how does it make you feel? You're probably overwhelmed, exhausted, you're stressed out, you're stuck with no choice, you're in survival mode, you're trapped, right? When you're feeling like you're just doing all the things and dealing with the life that's given you, you feel like you're just stuck there. You're just surviving in this life that was given and you don't have any choices. You're just doing all the things you have to do. You're in survival mode and you're trapped and you can't move forward and you're not getting to whatever vision you have of your life in the future. Or maybe you've stopped visioning your life in the future because you can only see where you are right now. That's very possible too. And that's no fun. No, that is no way for anybody to live. So I say, stop the madness. Um, I love that scene from Friends. You don't have to feel this way. There's this is a good life. There are so many opportunities that we can take advantage of, and you can have whatever kind of life it is that you want to have. You can have a more magical life, which is why I named my business that. You can. You just have to learn how to think about it differently and maybe do a few things and use your time a little bit better, and it will move you towards that magical life. So, what are we going to do? I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you. Here you come. So this was the biggest mindset shift for me when I started thinking about time. It blew me away. And when I really started thinking about it, I was like, wow, it was amazing. But here's the thing, too often we think about the 24 hours we have in a day, and we only have 24 hours, and I have to work most of those and sleep most of those, and do all the things I have to do. Really leave only a couple of hours left, and if I only have a couple of hours, then I'm not going to give any away to do this or that or whatever, right? So things get pushed aside and we never get to them. But you have more time than you think you do. And when we stretch that time span to a whole week, now we have 168 hours to play with. So if you think of your time in weeks instead of days, you're working with 168 hours. And when you have 168 hours instead of 24, there's a lot more flexibility. And why is it more realistic even to think about a whole week's worth of time instead of a day? Because our days are so different. That's why I have you track for a whole week, because each day is different. Your Monday is not the same as Wednesday. Your Wednesday is not the same as Friday, and your Friday is not the same as Sunday. Every day is a little bit different. And so it's hard to compare those days day to day. But your weeks tend to run cyclically. They are a cycle. They repeat generally from week to week. Now, life, yes, there's some variation and things happen, but generally from week to week, sort of the same. You have a work week, you have the weekend, or whatever it is that you do. So you have more time than you think, because when you take a full 8 hours of sleep every night, that's 40 hours a week. And if you work a full-time job of 40 hours, and I will even make that 50 to account for some commute time, right? If you subtract 50 hours a week of full-time work and 8 hours a night, so 40 hours of sleeping, I'm sorry, 8 times 7 is 56. 56 and 50, so that's 106. What does that leave you? 62 hours left. You have 62 hours. That's a lot of hours that you get to choose. That's outside of your sleep. It's outside of your work. This is other time that you get to choose what you do with. 68 hours to allocate. If you have 68 hours to play with, do you think you could spare a couple to maybe do some exercise, do some moving? Maybe you could spare a couple to do something that you enjoy and have some fun. Could you spare a couple to spend some time with your family and your kids, to work on a goal that you have? Whatever it is, whatever you choose, you have 68 hours. There's so much flexibility in that when you think about it in that way. So you choose how you spend your hours. You have chosen how to spend your hours in the past. Every decision that you have made has put you where you are today. You have decided how to spend your time. Even if some things have been thrown at you, some situations or experiences, you chose how to deal with them. You chose what to focus on and how to feel about that. And then you decided what actions to take. Good, bad, or ugly, doesn't matter. You chose to spend those hours the way that you did. And that's why you are where you are right now. And so moving forward, you get to choose what to do with your 168 hours. What are you going to do with them? Now, here's the other truth bomb. You sleep more than you think you do. And I hope that your tracker will prove that to you. You work less than you think you do. And you have lots of leisure time. You have lots of free time. Even though we're feeling so busy and overwhelmed, we have way more leisure time in our schedule than we believe that we do. Now, I read a book called 168 Hours by Laura Vanderkam. And in there, she talks about the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they did an American time use survey. And so they surveyed the time used by Americans all over the country. And what they found that on average, Americans sleep 8 hours a day. as much as we complain about not getting enough sleep, as much as we complain about being so busy and overworked, we sleep an average of 8 hours a day. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely. Are some days better than others? Absolutely. But if you average it all out, we're sleeping 8 hours a day. We are also averaging 35 to 43 hours a week of work. Even though we complain about working all these hours, we're overworked, we're working 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks and no breaks and no time off and blah, blah, blah. When they looked at all the time that people were working and they averaged it out, again, some jobs more than others, yes. Some situations more than others, some days or weeks different others, sure. But they averaged it all out. And on average, Americans are working 35 to 43 hours a week. We're also watching 2.6 average hours of TV per day. It's a lot of hours. So our now here's one that will blow you away. Mothers, full-time working mothers, average 11 minutes a day, focused time playing or doing something with their children. Part-time moms, it only went up to 21 minutes a day, and stay-at-home moms only were less than an hour a day with their kids. So our perspective, our mindset around how we spend time is very skewed. It's skewed by what the culture is telling us, what the news is telling us, and we are focused on, again, the negative, the busy, the I need more, I don't have enough, instead of the stuff that's really good and that's really happening. So I found that to be very interesting. So big question is, how are you going to spend your 168 hours moving forward? What are you going to do with it? Knowing you have so much time to choose what to spend it on, what are you going to do with it? And before we can know where we're going to be, we got to know where we are, right? We're going to get direction on how to get to this great, big, new, magical life. We got to know where we're starting. So we're going to track. Tracking is so, so important. You got to know where you are in order to create directions to figure out where you're going to go. So we're going to track. And tracking is super important. It's very beneficial. It's something that we do all the time. If you have ever been on a diet plan or nutrition plan, you probably had to track that you're eating. If you, sorry, my messages are going off. If you have ever done a fitness program, you probably had to track your activity. If you ever wanted to save money for something, you probably budgeted and tracked your expenses and tracked your spending. So tracking is very powerful because we get what we focus on. Again, and if you focus, if you track, you have to focus. And if you're focusing on it, it's going to improve and get better. So we're going to track. Why should we track? Take the time to track our time. And we just talked about some of this, but what you focus on improves. That's just bottom line. And so we're going to focus on how we're spending our time, and therefore how we spend our time is going to be more effective. It's just going to work magically. Also, like I said before, your brain is super dumb and it's always looking for evidence. And so your tracker is going to be evidence of how you are actually spending your time. If you are telling your brain that you're so busy, but your tracker shows all this free time and fun time or wasted time, you're going to look at that tracker and it's going to go, you're not that busy. If you're telling yourself that you're so tired, you're not getting enough sleep, but your tracker is showing that you're getting plenty of hours every night, you're going to give evidence to your brain. And remember, you're not good at estimating. So this tracker is going to show you how you're actually spending your time, not how you think you're spending your time. And just like that study, the American Time Use study, you may find that you are working a whole lot less than you think you are. You are sleeping a whole lot more than you think you are. And you may or may not be giving time to your kids that you think you are. So this tracker is going to be like your real data. It's going to actually show you the truth of what is really going on in your life so that you can make the changes you need to make. how are you going to track your time? So you're going to download the tracker that I have provided for you in the course, or you can make your own. It's perfectly fine. You can do whatever you need to do, but you need blocks for 15 to 30 minutes at a time. And you're going to track your time every day for 7 days at least. Tracking more gives you more information, more data. So, but at least 7 days, you want to look at a full week. That work week, the weekends, they shift and change a little bit. So you want a full 7 days. I want you to be super honest with yourself on your tracker. Don't leave things off just because you're embarrassed to write them down. Be honest about what you're doing. Don't leave anything out either. So one of the things that I found when I tracked previously was that after I dropped my child at school, I would come home, and you know how when you first walk in the door, everything, all the expectations and things, and like you just have to, it all falls on you at once, right? As soon as you walk in the door. Well, I found that if I didn't walk in the door, I wasn't home yet. So after dropping him off at school, I would sit in the driveway in my car. I'm at home, but I would sit in the driveway in my car listening to music, and the air conditioning was on, and I would just scroll my phone and relax, and it was so peaceful and quiet. But before I knew it, like an hour had gone by. So I had to write that down. 1 hour sitting in car scrolling Facebook in the driveway, like write it down. So be honest, don't leave anything out. All of that is important information, and it may or may not be a good or a bad thing. That's going to be up to you to decide later. Just write everything down. Small moments matter. Even the 5 to 10-minute tasks that you do or the things that you do, those add up. So make sure you write them down. The other thing is the small moments. So I was filling in my tracker, and I actually tracked last week so that I would have up-to-date data for you to see. But what I found is one morning I was writing in, I had fixed Christopher breakfast and started the laundry. So I was writing that in the space, and it of course filled the whole block because making breakfast, starting laundry, filled the block. But then I looked at what time it was, and it was only like 7:15. So what I realized was I had filled the whole 30-minute block, but I had not spent 30 minutes doing that task. And so I want you to be very careful about how you fill your blocks and your descriptions. If it only took 10 or 15 minutes, then you only get half a block. And make sure you are specific about what the rest of that half-hour block was spent doing, right? If you took 10 minutes to start the laundry and scrolled for 20, make sure you write that down. And the more specific, the better. So if you can be specific about like work, well, what at work did you do? Or cleaning, what cleaning did you do? Be specific. The more specific, it's just going to give you more information to be able to make better decisions later. So that's super important. I'm going to move. Let me see if I can move myself. Can I move myself? No. The other thing I want you to remember is that this tracker is for your eyes only. You're the only one that's going to see it, so don't be embarrassed about what you're going to write down. You can describe things or use whatever code words you need to, as long as you understand what that means. No one else is going to see this. I'm not going to ask you to share unless you really want to share. And if you want to share it with me, I have some one-on-one time where I can help you with your trackers. So, but that would be completely your choice. If you don't want anybody to see your tracker, you don't have to have anybody see your tracker. So it's just for you. So don't worry about what you're writing. Be specific, write everything down. Don't leave anything out. Now, the magical trick is color. Color is the magic. So a more magical life, we've got to have some magical tricks. And so once you have filled out your tracker completely, so here's mine, all the days, oops, there we go, all the things, right? It's a jumbled mess. I can't even hardly read my writing actually. But looking at that, it's craziness. It does nothing for me. So color is your friend, and this is a very, very powerful magical trick. Color is going to help us see trends. It's going to help us see things that are going on that we may not notice otherwise. And so what you're going to do is you're going to assign a color. and I'm going to make myself big so you can see. You're going to assign a color to different categories that you get to choose. You get to choose what categories and what colors. It doesn't matter what color you choose for different things. So I chose green as family. So anything that I did for or with my family, I colored it green. Yellow was self. So anything I did to take care of myself, all by myself, I made yellow. Notice there is a lot of green and yellow on this tracker. Oh my God, look at all the green. So green and yellow. Orange and purple. So I have two businesses. So I made orange and purple. You could just have one color for work. If that works for you. I personally wanted to know how much time I was spending on each business to make sure it was balanced. So, because I had a feeling I was spending more time on one business than the other. So I wanted to see that. So all of my orange and purple is work. You can see it throughout. And then pink, I chose pink as my time sucks. When I found activities that really were kind of a waste of time, things that I was not being productive, I colored all of those pink. So you can see a few spots in there where there's some pink. Now here's the thing. This is where that sitting in the driveway in my car, because it was peace and quiet. Let's take this for example. Down here, this one right here. So this was a TV night. Notice I stayed up way too late. So after I put Christopher to bed, I stayed up and watched TV. So You Think You Can Dance was on, The Handmaid's Tale I needed to catch up on. So I watched some TV, and I watched lots of TV. Now, the first hour or so, that was really for me. I needed some downtime, some off time, some brainless, like stop thinking about the day so I could go to bed, right? So I allowed myself an hour. That was for me. But beyond that, I really stayed up too late and I watched way too much, and I could have gone to bed and I didn't. So I wasted some hours. I wasted some of my sleep hours because I stayed up till midnight that night, doing something that I really didn't need to do. So I made it pink. That was my choice, right? That hour scrolling in the car after dropping off my kid, that may be self-care time. That might be the hour that I need of peace and quiet for myself before I jump into my day. And so I can make that self category, or I can decide, you know what, this hour sitting in my car is really a waste and I have better things to do. And so I'm going to make it pink. I'm going to make it a time suck, and I'm going to color it something different. It's completely up to you. It's your life. It's your priorities. It's your decisions. It's what feels best for you. So you decide, is this a time suck or is this self-care, right? So you've got to decide. Now be honest with yourself, and you are more than welcome to do like I did, where I put, okay, so part of this was good for me, but I got sucked in and then it was too much. So a little bit is good. A little bit is something I need, but not all of it. I also put showering and getting dressed as self-care. That is time by myself in my bathroom that I'm taking care of me. I'm doing my hair, I'm doing my makeup, and I'm not rushing through it. I'm taking a time to really make myself feel good and put together and confident about how I look. And if I look good, I feel more confident. So that is important time for me to take to do that. So I allow myself that time and I call it self-care. I put on my music, I have a great time all by myself. um, so yeah, so you get to decide what things are categorized at, what colors you want to make them. That's completely up to you. But once you do that, you will start to notice things. And I'm going to switch this up. Here is what I hope you might notice. Oh, look at that. You might notice that you have a favorite color. You may notice that your tracker is all one color or a majority of one particular color. You might also notice that some other colors are missing and that there's just not enough of them. You might notice that some tasks are taking you more or less time than you thought that they were. And because of that, you might start making different choices right off the bat. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. Um, a few years ago, gosh, it's been like 2 years now, I was a busy mom. I was running my business. I had all three kids doing different things. I was driving Nicholas back and forth from college to home and vice versa. I had Christopher in jujitsu and baseball, and also he was taking a parkour ninja class at gymnastics gym. I was also president of the PTA and volunteering and doing fundraisers and all sorts of things. And I was starting to feel very overwhelmed. I was starting to feel very stuck. I was feeling very busy. And I thought something has got to change. This is not working. I was not happy at all. And I felt like I just couldn't get to the things I wanted to get to. My kids were missing out. I was having to tell people no that I didn't want to. I was trying to do things that I didn't want to do. And I was not able to do things I did want to do. So I said, what is going on here? Something has to change. And that was the first time I really dove into a tracker specifically. So I tracked my time, and then I took out my highlighters and I colored in, and I made pink for PTO, and I made purple for my business, and I made green for my family, and I made yellow for myself. And I took a look at what was happening in my life. And when I looked at that tracker, it was all pink. There was very little self. There was very little yellow. There was not nearly enough purple for me to be growing the business to the extent I wanted it to be. I had big goals for my business and they weren't happening. And I wondered why. It's because I wasn't spending any time there. There was very little purple. There was a lot less family time on there than I needed there to be. Um, Family was a number one priority. So it should have lots of time, right? But it wasn't. It didn't. Most of my tracker was pink. It was PTO pink, and PTO was the least prioritized thing in my life. That was not the thing that I felt was the most important at all. It was the last second add-on thing. And here I was spending the majority of my time on it. So when I did my tracker and I used the color, I noticed right away that that pink color was taking over my life and that there were so many colors that were not on there nearly enough, if at all. Um, and this PTO thing was taking way more time than I anticipated. And I was not spending as much time on my business as I should have been. Um, and so that helped me make some really big decisions right off the bat. So I quit PTO. As soon as I noticed and realized that, I quit PTO. And it was a very, very difficult decision. It was hard for me because I am someone you can count on, someone who is true to their word and will step up to the plate and get the job done. But it was the first time in my life that I had to take a look at my priorities and what was important for me and my family above some of that commitment that I had made. And it was really hard for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to meet this commitment and I'm going to have to step down. That was really, really hard. I lost friends. It made a lot of relationships at the school very difficult. But it was something that I had to do. And it was the best decision that I could have made. It changed everything in my life. It sent me on a journey that has been amazing. I've been able to focus time on my business and grow that. I've been able to spend more time with the family and get my kids where they needed to be and get them finished and graduated and off on their own out of the house. I've been able to work on the relationship with my husband. Um, just so much better. I was so much more time for myself and growing myself and making myself better. So it just was the thing that I needed to do. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to have to quit all of your responsibilities or commitments, but when you look at your tracker, it may be painfully obvious some things that you need to do, and you might have to make some hard choices. So that was a choice that I had to make. The other thing that you might notice is that you're already making different choices as you start to track. So just like if you were going to do a food diary and you were going to track all the things that were going in your mouth, right? If you're on a particular diet, you're trying to lose weight and you start writing down everything that you eat, you may stop eating certain things because you don't want to write them down, right? You go, oh, I don't want to write that down, so I'm not going to do it. And that may be happening with your time tracker as well. It's a very, very common thing. And so just by tracking and focusing on your time and how you're spending it, you're going to start making different choices already about what you do with your time. So one of the things that happens to me when I'm tracking is I'm way more conscious when I get into that social media scrolling, sucked into that vortex of Instagram and Facebook or YouTube videos. You get sucked in, right? And before you know it, hours have passed. Well, I am quicker to recognize that I am in that spiral than when I'm not paying attention. So it's definitely not a bad thing. Now, if you need help with your tracker, and you need somebody from an outside perspective to look in and see what is going on, because you just don't see any trends, you don't see any things that you think you can fix, and you're just struggling with looking at the tracker and the color codes, and you're just not coming up with anything that might help. I'd love to help you. I have some spots available to do some one-on-one sessions. So you can either go to the More Magical Life at Podia or .podia.com, I think it is, or just email me and I'll send you the link to my one-on-one coaching session slots, and you're welcome to sign up for one of those. And I will work one-on-one with you to look at your tracker and help you see those trends, those patterns, and where you might be able to make some different decisions. Sometimes we need someone from the outside to look in. So a great metaphor for this is, do you know how many times you've seen little kids, maybe even adults, feel like they're drowning in the pool, right? And they're splashing around and they're stressed out and they're, oh my gosh, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. And somebody from the outside of the pool just has to yell at them and say, put your feet down. It's not as deep as you think it is. So that's where I feel like I'm really good. I can stand on the side of the pool and let you know that you either need to just put your feet down because it's not very deep. I can see it's only 2 feet and you're fine. Or maybe there's a pool noodle floating by and I can let you know you just need to reach out and there's a floaty and you'll be okay. Or I need to remind you to just put your head down and swim. Just put your head down and swim. Sometimes we need somebody from the outside to remind us of those things. When we get overwhelmed in our situation, we just need some help and some different perspective. So if you'd like to do a one-on-one session, I would love to meet with you. Just shoot me an email at heather@amoremagicallife.com or go ahead back to your course and sign up for that one-on-one tracker session. Would love to do that with you. All right, so now it's time to make some decisions. You need to take a look at your tracker. And again, these are the decisions I can help you with if you really need. Take a look at your tracker. What is good about your tracker? So for me, what I saw was good is I'm spending a lot of time with my family. My kids are getting plenty of quality time. Kids and hubby are getting me. It's good. Okay. I'm also spending a lot of time, so much yellow, right? I get a lot of self-care. I take care of myself. So that is good. What needs to change? So one of the things I noticed I need to change is I need to work more. I have big work goals, and I am not putting in the hours to get me where I want to be fast enough. Like I'll get there eventually, but I want to get there faster. And so what can change is I need to put in more hours working, focused working, making money, income producing activities, right? So how can I streamline and be more effective? So those morning hours, I'm not so good in the morning. Look at all that pink and yellow first thing in the morning. I have identified I'm a slow to warm up person. I need some time in the morning to get myself on track and warmed up. Lots of pink, right? Pink and then yellow. Look at all that pink and yellow, pink and yellow. Before I get going, I need time to warm up and take care of me and get myself in the right frame of mind. I can streamline that. I can be more effective there. I'm spending way too much time waking up in the morning and scrolling my phone before I then take time to get myself ready, before I take time to get to work. So I need to streamline that process. I need to find a way to wake myself up quicker and spend less time just scrolling Facebook in the morning, and maybe even shorten my shower, get dressed time just a little bit. That would give me a lot of more time to do things. What do I need to cut out and say no to? I don't have a lot this time that I need to say no to, but certainly a couple of years ago when I needed to cut out PTO and say no to that, that was a big deal. So it's not to say that you will have things that you need to say no to or to cut out, but if you do, it might be painfully obvious that it's something you need to do, whether you want to or not. What needs to happen more often? On mine, I would say I more often, I'm not sure. What needs to happen more often? So for you, it may be that you just don't have enough self-care on there. May not be enough time for yourself, taking care. Remember, you've got to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help everyone else in your life. And if you are not taking care of you and spending some time to fill yourself up and make you feel fulfilled and confident, have a little fun, have a little relaxation, take a nap, whatever it is that you need to make you feel good. Um, that's important. And if you're not doing that enough, that might need to happen more often. What surprised you? I was shocked at how much time I'm spending on myself and my family and not as much on work. I felt like I was working a lot and I'm really not as much as I could be. So that's definitely something I want to do. I thought I would have more time suck time, and I'm actually getting pretty good about it. But again, I might have been that tracker syndrome where you don't want to write it down, so you pay attention and you stay more focused. So I think that's probably what happened to me. So think about where you can make some decisions around your time and your schedule and how you're spending it and how you might want to tweak and change, right? What do you might want to do differently? So spend the full days, 7 days tracking before you start color coding. Don't color code too soon. Spend the full 7 days tracking, then go in with your colors and code everything. Then take a look, ask yourself those questions. Come back and rewatch the part of the video if you need to, so you can kind of take a look after it's all done and kind of see what's going on for you. Get clear. So after you do all that, then step 2 will come up. So it may not be available for you just yet. It will come up in a couple of days. I want to give you plenty of time to do your tracker before you watch it. We're going to talk about your priorities. We're going to get clear on what's important to you. We are going to find out and help you decide what you would prefer to be spending your time on. So now we know what you are spending your time on. Where do you need to do it different, right? What are some things that are missing that you need to add in to your week? And we're going to get real clear on what you want life to look like. Because remember, life can be anything you want it to be, literally anything. You want to live on a big fancy house on the beach, you can do that. You want to have a log cabin in the woods? Do you want to live in the suburbs and go to work every day and come home and relax with your family? You can do that. Like, you can literally have any life that you want. Want to not work at all? We can make that happen. Is it going to take time? Is it going to take work? Yes. Yes, you may have to make some decisions to get there eventually, but you can start working towards whatever life that is that you want now, so that in the future it can be whatever it is you dream of. So we're going to figure out, what does that look like? What is important to you and what is not important to you? So we're going to figure that out next time. Have fun tracking. Have fun filling it out and identifying where you're spending your time, figuring out what it is that you're doing all day long. I hope you have some aha moments right off the bat and realize that you have more time than you think you do. That maybe you are sleeping more than you think, that you're not working as hard as you think, that you have a lot of free time that you just didn't focus on, and you were focusing on the yucky and not on the good. So have fun tracking, do all your color coding, and then come back and see me for priorities. And we'll spend some more fun time together. Can't wait. See you soon.